Well, I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day break and enjoyed the fullness of your weekend. Did you lose your voice screaming at a person to leave your local grocery store? Were you the person screamed at for not complying to the demands to put something on your face that was not there at any other time in your life? And now it is your decision being taken from you by people demanding that you put a mask on your face in the face of a virus with a 99% survival rate. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of the grand unveiling of this artificial event, which is known as COVID-19, an operation to bring upon medical surveillance, an operation to bring upon, contact tracing, which is just another part of that. It's being implemented and updated in the newest smartphones as we get them. I would definitely say right now is a great time to go get yourself a burner and disconnect all social media to where you are as you go about your day. As just a kind of, we're going to do a lot of some futuristic picture making in the next few minutes here, and I'm going to put together a few scenarios for you folks to ponder and think about. That if you are in a situation where people are surrounding you, of course, you just can silently choose to walk away, okay? And if they allow you to leave the place, then please do so, and do so with your safety. Now, if somebody is blocking your way and you feel that you are being threatened, is a great time to bring out the bear mace and mace the whole fucking fruit department, all right? If you want to take down your local Piggly Wiggly, if things start getting gnarly. By then, the employees should have heard that there was something going on and should have been coming over to handle any kind of a disturbance in that nature, especially if a market is not deemed to be a mandatory mask market. And now you have the people who are demanding the compliance, taking your free rights away, and now you have your personal defense. And if you want to bear mace that whole store, then let them have it. If you want to take your car keys and gouge out the eyes of the first person that you can get a hold of, I can guarantee if you hold an eyeball up in front of 12 people wearing masks, they're gonna fucking run, okay? You have to understand this in a time now where people think that the mob rules. All right, then if you allow them to, they will succumb, they'll make you succumb to the position of accepting medical Sharia, of accepting the forced placement of masks like people have been done to them in the slavery of human beings throughout our human history. Pictures, remember, I would always see those movies where they had the escaped African slave, and he had the markings on his face because he wore a mask or a muzzle, and it dug into their skin, and now it is a permanent look. It's a permanent scarification because it's unnatural for people to wear this. And now you have one side, despite the science and despite the virtue signalers with their crocheted masks, you now have Joe Biden has switched off all of his avatars, now are wearing a mask. And doesn't that seem confident to you? The guy who's got the walk of somebody with a dementia? But it seems to be that's the move. A blank, flat, black mask is the call to be worn. I would imagine that if the more people who are doing this for a political purpose or virtue signaling purpose are going to wear them more and more, they're going to start to get a tan if they don't get skin breakdown in their face. So that's going to be something that's going to be marching along as this goes. This terrible arrest that we're seeing in Minnesota, the guy, that gentleman was murdered. That there was no reason for that officer to have him in that compliant position. But at some point, how many people, if you're watching a murder, don't just stand there and yell, what are you going to do to stop it? There were enough people there to get it to stop it, either through shame or by force. But nobody chose to do it, and so now we watched a murder happen. And what you're going to see civil disobedience. And they're either going to peacefully protest the murder of this man, or they're going to take it to the next level, violence, and they're going to be wearing masks. And it's going to red pill a large portion of this country to know that it's only a certain kind of person that is acting in this way, and then also wearing a mask. And you're going to see the people who are, the conservatives, and the people who are, they're just kind-minded. Yes, if you feel that it's best, and I don't mind complying to do it. And if they believe that that's the choice that they want to make for themselves, then God bless you. That's the choice that we all should be able to make for ourselves with our own ability, decisions of what we're going to wear and put in and on our bodies, ladies and gentlemen. So while it looks like things are dark right now and we shut down the economy, and we did so because you had to listen to Birx, because if you didn't, they were going to crucify you using it. You had to listen to Fauci because if you didn't listen to him, they would crucify you for not using it. And you used those two yo-yos to paint this picture, and you followed right along to the decimation of this economy. And now they're going back on we didn't know, and this person said this, and now this is look, the good news is these are the yo-yos that were here to sell you the vaccination, that are here to sell you the testing, that are here to sell you the thing that they already had planned and implemented that was coming because of this operation that they put into place. And now we know that it's an operation. We know that they took a normal flu season and dressed it up to be scary and sold it to us. We know by the way people are reacting to this mask that they either believe in it wholeheartedly or they're seeing it for the fucking screw job operation that it is. That it is medical Sharia. In the same way that Sharia law says that only the Muslims and anybody who succumbs and chooses to be a Muslim will be free to walk this planet. And if you don't agree, they'll kill you. And they'll do so in the name of supremacy. In the same way that the communists say that you're going to be a communist and you're going to succumb to the Communist Party. And if you do anything other than that, we're going to kill you. There's not much God in China, and there's not much Jesus over here in the Islamification of the extreme jihadi movement. Those people who believe in the Quran. Here's the thing, is that you can't buffet your way through a faith, folks. It's not how it works. So if these folks do have this religion, and it's their right too, but if part of the tenet of the book says, by hook or by crook, you are here to take over this planet. Is the Catholic Church any better? We're doing it with love, kindness, and the Holy Spirit. They're doing it with force. You don't have an option to cover your face in certain countries. You don't have an option not to walk 8 feet behind somebody in certain countries. Your face is covered in certain countries. And now we're another face, just like the Chinese do it because of a gas, just like they do it in the Middle East because of religious reasons. And here we are doing it for the religious reason that the secular left has sold us through fear, because that's what they use to sell this pandemic. A flu season with the normal amount of whatever happens during a flu season, in some cases less. They made you believe there's this 2-week period where you may get it, you may not get it, you may have it once, you may have it now, and nothing else. It's just a fucking goof, and they don't know. But originally they said 2.2 million would die. Now we have 100,000 people who have died with COVID, not from COVID. Remember, there's the with COVID, because you were coded with COVID, but then did you actually die of it? No. And that number is going to fall off. So this 100,000 person number that they're floating right now is going to come down in reality, because each state is getting paid $39,000 for each one of these. And you don't think the federal government is going to use that to an audit to see who padded the books? Who was the one pushing the pandemic? Who was the one forcing people into nursing homes? Who were the ones forcing people into public transit? Who were the ones telling, hey, come out and party here in Chinatown, everything is great? You don't think they know every single one of those things? If you look at this, there's a document on my Facebook. It's this dark winter exercise. And what they got from Johns Hopkins University is they talk about martial law. And martial law was coming, but it was supposed to be them that had it in place. And they're terrified now that Donald Trump puts this into place. And what does that mean? When all of a sudden, imagine being a leftist, a communist, and you are going to have to look into a camera, you ready for this? And defend the protesters of the National Guard. And you're like, okay, well, I get it. Well, yeah, of course, we should be able to protest the National Guard. The National Guard, who's called in to protect Americans from being able to worship freely without state oppression. The National Guard being called in to protect people worshiping God. And on the other side of that equation are the protesters in masks fighting against the National Guard, who are protecting the people and their freedom to worship from the state, the leftist governors, the various policing and intrusive state monitoring that's going on. And at some point, this country is going to wake up. And when they do wake up, they're going to wake up to a country where it's going to be a known hoax that this COVID-19 was an artificial event that was created to win an election. It was stopped. There is a price tag involved. They will have to pay it. They're using it now to push for mail-in voting. And are there states and cities, are there cities that have voted? There was a state in Florida that voted at a 140% of their population. There was a state in California that was 108% of its population, a city. That's how they voted. That there were 440,000 people who went and got a driver's license because they could, and the state automatically signed them up to be voters even though they weren't citizens. If you don't think that they will not use write-in voting, here's our write-in candidate that we had to put in and fucking blah, blah, blah. And now you've got a bunch of people in masks in the bottom of a basement somewhere, auto-signing signature after signature after signature. Because they only got to win. They only got to win once. And you'll never hear about COVID-19 again. And there will be roundups. And if you are a person that spoke about your freedoms and your liberty, they will come after you. They're already coming after you now because you opted for your freedom not to wear a mask. What are they going to do when they get the rest of the power back from the citizens of the United States now, and they are aligned with China, and they're aligned with the Islamic radical jihadi movement that is here working with the communists to enslave this entire planet? See it for what it is. That's what happens if they win. What we should be concerned of is this disturbance breaking out in Minneapolis, the various disturbances as the National Guard is brought in to protect people from prayer. And what happens if there is a state of martial law declared and real state militias rise up? It's going to be very, very easy to go find people who have a fucking dark, easy to recognize tan mark on their face. And who's going to protect those people? The people who did so from their altruistic good, and not the people that did so because they did it to overthrow this country. And to the mob that is going to be released in the name of liberty, in the name of anti-tyranny, they're going to be going for blood. And that's something to be concerned about here. I've been working on something here since I got my typewriter. I've been pages upon pages upon pages upon pages of stories, pit boss stuff, jokes, lyrics I would never publish. And now I have the ability to create stuff that's not on the internet, that I'm not staring at a camera while it reads my neck muscles while I think. I'm not typing it into a computer that's saving all of my edits, that's archiving every keystroke that I put into it. And so what I've done is I've created a release that I'm going to do monthly. It's called the 17th Watch. And I'm going to, I'll be dropping one on June 17th is the date that it drops. And I'll put the info here for my PayPal, and I'll put the info here for my Venmo. And I know what it's going to cost to mail this for these things. And so, we'll set the price at $10 postpaid, and if you want to pay more, then God bless you. And if you're from not here, then there's going to be more shipping. We'll get all that worked out, and I'll put it all, and you can pay via PayPal, or you can send me a letter. If you want to send me a message on one of my various social medias, I can get you a mailing address to send. If you want to send old school cash through the mail, you can do that. All right, or if you really want to take it off the computer here, off the actual monitoring situation that we have here. And so what I'm creating here is, just an old school fanzine, an old school magazine like we grew up with as kids, with information that you could only find there. And so that's it. And so again, those are some various scenarios that are coming our way. And so thank you for the folks who are listening on ROKFIN, ROKFIN/JT, endorse the Pale Horse, and watching the highlights at IGTV, and listening to the podcast on SOUNDSTOOTH and or Spreaker or Anchor, wherever you're getting it. If you want to, I have a Patreon where you get all the stuff that's non-edited. You could look at that, and that's JLJ's 4256. If you want to go support over there. Otherwise, you can. There's a donate function on the Anchor app. There is, there's all sorts of ways to support what we're doing here. And what we are doing here is preparing people with with an operating system and a language that's going to allow them to remain steadfast in their liberty, steadfast in their faith. No matter which way this goes, you will be in the best position to see things way in advance before they happen, and to know how to read the language of the manipulators. And we're going to do that. Part of, aside from, hardcore related stuff and, liberty and rights. So there will be breakdowns in the 17th Watch about new geometry and how to, discern God in God's fullness as God surrounds in, among, and through us in the mathematical faction that God is following God's plan, and God is following God's plan through the mathematical functioning of reality. And so if you and I understand the language, the mathematical language, and the order, then it will be very, very simple for us to be able to sit back, read the tea leaves, and you'll understand why Kathy Griffin is offering to jam a needle in Donald Trump's neck. You'll be able to figure out why that's happening. You'll be able to figure out what it means to culture when a celebrity like that says that there's going to be that kind of violence, then there are copycat people of her. True. Just like when a celebrity kills themselves, there's a copycat of that. Again, this is just about the globalist depopulation. It's very, very simple what they're doing. And so the forces who are here to force have joined forces, and that is the Chinese Communist Party, the progressive left, and radical Islam, and the cartels, who are here to have a war on earth, a God-free war on earth, where every human being is subjugated to the tyranny of this dominant culture that will make you adopt Sharia, will make you adopt a face covering, will make you adopt the turning women and children into commodities. We're going to find out that not only does China have concentration camps, but they also eat human flesh, and it's not that big of a deal. We have people here in the United States who eat human flesh. When Donald Trump said these people are sick, he wasn't kidding. The question is, will this be unveiled? Will people come and be brought to real justice? And what will that scenario look like? And more than likely, God willing, the left will devour itself and show themselves to be the anti-American operatives and subversives that they've always been, and to do so in the heat of summer, when everybody realizes that this has been an artificially created event. I'm John Toll, johntoll.net. I'm at Twitter, at John Toll, JOHNTOLE. If you want to watch people yell at me all day, nothing says I want to listen to you like you demanding that I get the disease. That's my favorite. Oh, I hope you fucking die. You're the person that wishes that people die. That's who you are. You're the person that says that people are morons on the internet. You're just exposing yourself for who you are, your inability to have great ideas. And so, again, here we are. God bless America. God bless us all. And the 17th Watch, thanks for watching this. Thanks for getting the wherever you're getting it. I know I got to go chop it up into pieces, and then when I'm done with this, I'm going to sit outside, and I'm going to sit by the fire, and I'm going to sit and work on some handwritten notes for 17th Watch. It's going to be you guys are going to be stoked to get it, and it only exists there. Can't get it on the internet because it exists in my inability to type. and to typeset and to fix errors as I go, which sometimes I do, and sometimes I have to rewrite a page 12 times. And it's hilarious to me as I have to do it because it's my fat fingers that are making the errors. And sure, I could give you the errors, but why not? If I could take the time to make it great, then I will. Again, June 17th is when it drops, okay? Again, of course, in there is going to be things that you can only get by having that magazine, and that sounds a lot like Pit Boss. So God bless America, and thanks. ROKFIN, SOUNDSTOOTH. That's it. America first.